where may be thine, a shelter in the time of storm. Almighty rock in a weary land, cooling shade on the burning sand, faithful God for the pilgrim's man, a shelter in the time of storm. A shade by day, defense by night, a shelter in the time of storm. No fear, alarm, no foes of flight, a shelter in the time of storm. Almighty rock in a weary land, cooling shade on the burning sand, faithful God for the pilgrim's man, a shelter in the time of storm. The raging floods may round us beat, a shelter in the time of storm. We find in God a safe retreat, a shelter in the time of storm. Almighty rock in a weary land, cooling shade on the burning sand, faithful God for the pilgrim's man, a shelter in the time of storm. Oh, rock divine, a refuge there, a shelter in the time of storm. Be thou our helper ever near, a shelter in the time of storm. Almighty rock in a weary land, cooling shade on the burning sand, faithful God for the pilgrim's man, a shelter in the time of storm. Amen. And we're going to sing the last one, number 530. When peace like a river attended my way. Is it well? Or it's going to be well with our soul. Number 530. soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. Amen. Make it sure that it is well with our soul. It is well, and make sure when Christ comes, he can find us waiting and watching and have that faith and confidence in him. I'll turn over to Pastor at this moment as he to continue our Bible class.
Hello, somebody. Oh, that hello sound like we are still need some warming up. Yes, your one sound like all right. Now, those of you who have your Bible, how many have your Bible? Have your digital Bible? We want to work the Bible. Now, the last time we were here, do you remember what was one of the subjects we were trying to explain, and we were pending to come back today? Let's see, how is the memory? Hello. Hello. You are one of the readers? You are one of the readers? I try to remember. I know she was one of the judge. Till I see him, the judge over this side. Well, with him, I will probably reserve the observation. He was not here. Do you remember what we were addressing? What were we studying? Hello. No, not giving the clue. I'm trying to. If you don't remember, honestly, and you were one who was talking strong enough in favor and against, and you were back and forth, oh, you missed it. Let me give you all a hint since everybody is in the vision. Yeah, yes. Remember that Sabbath was community guest day. Remember? No, community guest day. She's not there yet. She's getting there. She's getting the spirit, but she's not in the spirit yet. Was community guest day. And what was the subject that we addressed Sabbath evening? I know you don't know. Hold on. And you all are thinking a little. All right. I remember the sister had one of the explosive texts. You remember that? You don't remember the explosion? All right. No. Okay, I want to follow up with that study, but also I want to address what we started this morning. How is it, or what are the principles that God wants us to be faithful and have prosperity? Tired is one, but we're talking about lifestyle. You see, those who are in my class over the other side, we're studying some interesting subjects. One of these days we might move over and have it over this side so they can be awake. Now, we read that Jacob and God made a covenant. That's what we study in the sermon today. God and Jacob made a covenant. What was God's covenant? Okay. Will be with him, will never leave him until when? Okay, we want to go back to the text. Go back to Genesis. Don't just stating your views. If you don't remember the text, looks by Genesis, what chapter? That's not 34. We give you 28. Yeah. We are not in Corinthians, we're in Genesis right now. That's what we read last week. But you get lost now. I said we're going to go back to what last week, but first we're going to go what we studied this morning. Oh, yes, I asked the question, when God guides us to prosperity. Some of us don't want to talk about prosperity. Okay, what are the principles of prosperity? Now, I asked the second question. What did God covenant to do with Jacob? Well, go back to the text. Go back to the text. We keep saying, go back to the text. Read it, sister. That's what I want. Thus says the Lord. Go ahead. One. Two. That's number 3. So what are the 3 things God said to Jacob that he pledged with himself? First, read it again, sister. I didn't hear it. So what God says first? No, that's some of you saying what she didn't say. Read it again, sister. They are spiritualizing their understanding. What did God says? Okay. So what God promised first? God will be with you. Even you are crooked, you are not so good, God said, I will be with you. First, we need to get that clear. God will be with you. Doesn't matter your condition. God will be with you. Second, what God said? Why God have to keep you? No, why God have to keep you? Let me start with you. Why God have to keep you? Not only that, but why Him have to keep you? You notice the word keep? If you're keeping a child, what are you doing? Sorry? Bless her. But when you tell her that you're gonna keep her children, what are you saying? Protecting, yes. Come on. I'm not hearing you, brother. I'm not hearing you. I need to hear you too. So God said, I will keep you. In other words, where you're going is dangerous. But God says, I will protect you. I will keep you. Guide you. If you're going to start a business, you go to God after you start the business. When you go to God, if you're going to start a business or start a job, what you bring to God when you're going to start? You see, you want Him to lead you and making the right decision. You agree with her? Well, I don't agree with her. You see, you guys jump too quick. You agree with her? I don't agree with her. Because your plans, God said, when you are here, I am up there. God don't think like you and me. Why many fail in their plans? We want to understand that principle. Let's go to Jacob's covenant so we can understand. Now, God made His promise already. What Jacob said. Let's go back to the text. Where's the Bible? The Bible? We need the Bible, brother. We need the Bible. I see you have the electronic Bible. You have the electronic Bible? Okay, then open it. We need the Bible. We need the Bible. Hello, somebody. What Jacob said to God. Open the Bible, brother Tommy. Open the Bible. Genesis chapter 28. I studied this morning. I'm not looking to repeat all it. Yeah, but you're telling me I want you to read it. Read it. What Jacob said. So let's review what you just read. What covenant or vow Jacob brings to God? What's the number one thing? What is he saying? Some are not reading. Hello. Let's get back. This is Bible study. Doesn't mean I'm gonna say everything. It's in the text. What the text says. There you go, Pastor. He says, okay, you're going to be with me. That means my plans is not my plans. It's God's plans too, right? So he's basically returning to God the same covenant. You're going to be with me? Okay, I'm tying the deal. You're going to be with me? Second? Protect me again. Third? This morning we were talking about he had an eating problem. All his family had an eating problem. Before the blessing, Isaac asked, cook me some food. People only look on the brother about him give away his birthright with a little plate of food. No, sir, everyone in the family had a problem with food. But he tell God, God, feed me. Be my provider. Give me food, and what is the third, the fourth one? Clothing. You notice the family had a problem with clothing too. Hello. Okay, so that's the basic needs. In other words, God, he's asking God, provide my basic needs. Are we clear with that so far? Okay. How much of your salary go to your basic needs? How much of your salary goes to your basic needs? How much of your salary go to your basic needs? Oh, it's this side. I'm looking for my Bible. My Bible. Your basic needs. How much of your budget we use for basic needs? We're not talking about tithes right now. You didn't hear the guy says to God, if you give me food, if you give me clothing and you protect me. So we are talking about what he talked. How much you need from your income percentage. 100%, 50% for your basic needs. 80% you says? Sorry? 30%? Sorry, that's his opinion. I don't know how much him live with, So don't get frightened. Some folks are struggling. Basic needs. It depends on the income, but we're going to do something. Is he up there, Rodson? Turn on the TV for me, please. I'm going to send you a picture so we could. All right. Some of you are still not clear. What are your basic needs? Shelter, food, and clothing. Do you buy clothes every week? For some parents who have these that growing, sometimes it looks like it's every week. Because every year? No. You guys are not every year. Can your dress that you had on a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago fit you? No. Oh, you're growing. All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right, let me send something to, let me send this one just for the conversation. Rodson, and then he will work it out. Yes. You see, the Bible talks about, Jacob gives us principle of starting a stewardship relationship with God. And say, God, if you go with me, you protect me. Do you believe if you go into work, you need God protection? Do you believe if you're going to start a business, you need God protection? So all transaction you're going to have, you should talk to God before. If you're going to make an investment in the stock market or in a bank, shouldn't you talk to God before as well? Why? But guess what? If you are talking to God, who is your financial advisor? Who should be your number one financial advisor? So we will find the principles. Okay, we're in the Bible. Where in the Bible we find financial principles? In Malachi alone. Malachi tells you should return to God what belongs to God, but where do you find principles that are important? Okay, could you put on the screen 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 8? Let's analyze that first, because somehow we need... Yes, you can have somebody to read it in a moment. Thank you. I owe you. All right. 1 Timothy chapter and verse 8. Don't forget that. I remember there was a brother who got offended because I used that text, and I was in the balcony when he said, the pastor says, if you don't have what to provide, why you can't marry that young lady? Hello? I'm dealing with the wrong pastor. I just read the text. Who is responsible for the text? God. Don't beat the mailman. Beat the one who sent the text. I mean, the message. That's God. Verse 8. Chapter 5 from 1 Thessalonians, verse 8. 1 Timothy. Sorry. You see, I'm going to my brain went too far. 1 Timothy, chapter 5 and verse 8. Thank you, sister. You see? Wait, hold on. Not yet. We want everybody to find it. What version you reading, sister? King James. You're reading the King James. We soon go to who else have other version? Who have digital Bibles could read another version? Okay, I have Pastor Ray will have, what you have? Okay, you have the ESV. You're going to help us to read. And who else have another version? The New King James is on the screen. I want something different from that one. You have the Living Translation. What version you have? Well, you see, the daughters don't understand King James, sister. Then you see, they are James, but you are James. You're James. They have to learn the James. You see, all of them is James. The New King James is different. You have the King James. What about if you have the Message or the Living Translation? Oh, you can look for it. Just go online. You have, where is the digital? Oh, you're handling the mic. Oh, but you could have a Bible too.
You have the easy one here, easy translation.
Which one you have? Oh, okay. That's one good. Yes. What version you have? Easy English. Oh, very important. I'm going to read that one too. Okay, first, we want to answer the question about trying to follow up with how we go about with God being the one who guides us as we provide. If we're going to get into a business, we need God to give us wisdom. But before we go there, the principles about home and responsibility. We have to provide for who first? We're going to ask our sister to read what you have.
Okay.
1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 8. What version are you reading?
Chapter 5, the New King James.
Oh, the New King James? All right. It's on the screen too.
King James.
It's on the screen too. Go ahead.
Well, let me read from a Bible. But if any provide not for his own, and especially
any
for
provide,
those,
it doesn't say that.
But if any provide not for his
Oh,
own,
not for his home, yes.
and especially for those of his own, sorry, no, we have to turn over.
Household. So
For his own household, he had denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
okay, here the Bible tells me you could know anything about the Sabbath or other doctrines. Yeah, that's King James. I realize now. Don't worry. Let's understand what the principle is saying. Every man on the face of the earth, every man and woman, we can put the woman too. If you are a provider, I mean you have a job. And to keep the job, you need to be healthy. And you need to have the skills. You need to have the skills. Where do you get the skills? Yes, but you have to go to school. Get trained. And if you study something that will provide for the future, you got to be independent. Your mom ain't going to maintain you and provide for you until the day you die. Oh, you planning to die soon? Oh, okay. Let's see, sister. You have the mic? Okay, we're going to listen to this other version. So stay around here because we're going to go. And then we're going to go up to Pastor Ray's version. And then I have the version in the back. Yes.
This is the New Living Translation. But those who don't care for their relatives, especially those in their own household, have denied the true faith. Such people are worse than unbelievers.
That's a little hard to swallow. So who you provide first and then second? It mentioned two in that version. Relatives. Who is first? Relatives or household? Ah. So if your sister, cousin, brother, uncle is hungry and you give them and don't give your children, you are just like an unbeliever. Many of us who have relatives that are in foreign land do some things that is not balanced nor biblical. Hello, somebody. Not balance. You know what balance means? That's you kind of not two on the right side, and it's not biblical. When I say it's not balanced, God give you a better way. Does that make sense? I'm not saying you're not to do it. I'm saying that you're not doing it the right way. Because I have known Christians from different Adventist church. Oh, Pastor, my poor church over there in the bush corner, where you go down the gully, you go up the hill and you cross the tunnel, a cave, and you get to that corner. They just have a little church that is just a little roof. You send money there, but you don't provide for no money here at your local church. Mind those over there, you go back 10 years and you haven't seen them done anything with the money you sent. Hello. Same thing with home. Many send money home to build some kind of house, and the relatives tell you, oh, yes, a building. And many get heart attack and stroke when they go back to the island and realize they haven't built a nail. I work so hard. Oh, you see, Peter was sick on Monday, and John was sick on Friday, and then Granny, you know, she needed something extra. And this is not the first time things like this happen. When people provide for your household, how you provide for your household and for your relatives. Let's hear the text from other versions.
This is the Weymouth translation. It says, "But if a man makes no provision for those dependent on him, and especially for his own family, he has disowned the faith and is behaving worse than an unbeliever."
Ouch! 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 You got to kind of like pull that stab out and say, Paul is not even apologizing. Is he talking about finance, yes or no? Okay. Because someone provide. Provide mean work. And they have to talk that on a Sabbath. And Paul, I could imagine when he told Timothy, talk to the church. Whoa. Can you imagine you come Sabbath morning and Timothy says, half of you guys who are doing this, you're wrong. Paul says that if you don't provide for your own, but you see those that are in Greece, those that are in Corinth, and God called you to be a good steward. And in those days, they were mostly farmers, fishermen, or constructors. Jesus gave some principles. If you want to build a house, what must you sit down and do first? Make a plan. You make a plan. And the plan consists that you need to have this too. How can you start putting the roof and then halfway through, rain is soon to come, you don't have enough money to finish the roof? So you have to go in strategic planning. One of the things I love about Ellen White, many like to kick her around, and poor lady, she's dead long time ago. Leave her peacefully, man. Oh my goodness. She makes suggestions in counsels and stewardship. That's one of the first counsel I follow as soon as I graduate. You see, this guy, Ramsey, the one that talked about finance, what's his first name? Dave Ramsey. People say, wow, what ideas! In the Spirit of Prophecy in 1800, Ellen White recommends that you should have a saving that represents how much of your salary. No. You should have saving the bank 6 months' salary. He talked about having first an emergency fund. Ellen White threw off all of that and higher. You notice, it took me 3 years almost before I married Olga to have a 6 months salary in the bank. What financial freedom it provide? You talk about financial freedom, that's the language you use. If you have 6 months salary, you could stretch that salary of 6 months almost for a year. Because you'll cut off all kind of expenses. If you right now have 6 months sit down in your bank, you can even collect the interest and be financially independent. I'm going to tell you now my personal experience. I have done some things right and I've done some things wrong. Let me tell you the right ones. The wrong I will tell you later. When I was able to reach that point, I could walk in any store with my chest high. I remember there was a pastor at the university. I just had a little room and a little one bed and a little table. And I walking at this pastor that was leaving to the United States to do his doctorate degree. And he putting up all his furniture for sale. And he had bought them at a place in Costa Rica that named Grecia. They make some refined wood. I walk in his house. And I saw what he said. The wife told me, wait till her husband come. When her husband come in, he made the first big mistake. A colporteur catch everything in the air. Before it even roll higher. He asked her, Mommy, how much you want for it? I said, oh! That means the price is what? No, negotiable. Once I heard that, I said, huh? Because he's asking her how much you want. So I said, I hold my pocket and I said, I'm going to battle this through. After I fight the price, I have learned, Ramsey mentioned that, I pull out the money, I went and changed all my money and I had it in dollars. And I said, the furniture was back then, was around, pretty expensive, $320. And I'll tell you what's all the furnitures. I said to him, you're going to get colonies and you're going to change it. The average cost of what you have here, the dining and this one is $320. I give you $250 and in dollars and I put it on the table. I had more money in the pocket. You see the guy look at the money and look at me and look at the money and the wife. $250, and the lady, well, here now I want the $300. I says, look, I'm going to put $20 more and that's all I will give you because not I leaving. And I start walking off like a Malian guy. So they start looking at it and says, so the husband turned to the wife, will you be okay with that? Give it to him. I had the truck outside waiting. I called my friend. I said, bring the truck. And then they said, but if you take it now, we don't have to eat. I said, that's not my problem. I said, you sell it, I'm leaving with it. Because that friend of mine will take produce from where I was living 3 hours away and bring it to the city. So he was traveling back empty. So I made my business clear. I tell him, where will you be? I will be having lunch and such people. From what hour to what hour you having lunch? That hour. That's the hour I went and do the business. And as soon as I call you finish lunch? Not yet. I said, you're finished. Come pick up the furniture. And the lady, what are we going to do? We're not going to have table to eat now. The living room. And I heard bam, 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 bam. And then after I ask her, you have something else we can make? But you know why I was able to do that? Because I had a cushion. You have a more commanding process when you have the money. The creditor is in better shape than when you go and buy cash. Society have moved from buying cash to credit. But going back to this principle so I could help you understand. If you can't provide, then why live a lifestyle above your possibilities? Could you put on what the picture I sent you, Brother Rodson? The Ramsey and many financial gurus will tell you, you cannot live. Can you enlarge it so we can just see the top first and then after we scroll down, just enlarge the full screen? You cannot live if you earn $2,000 or $1,000 a month. How much should you live with? Oh, you got to pray for your daughter. I know she needs a rich man. How much? Or repeat the question. What's the percentage you should live with if you was to have an income, let's say $2,000 a month? How much should you budget yourself to live with? No. I want you to tell me you know. You see, we soon go to other. They want to hear you in the mic. You say, you can't stretch too much. You say, hey, poor man, you can stretch. You need to get up. That's all right. Yes, my friend. Go ahead, Joy.
We pay into Social Security, right? So, you have to work, retire. Social Security will pay you back money. Under normal circumstances, what we pay into Social Security is 60% off of what we live off of. So I'm going by that number. I'm going to try to live off of 60%.
So you're using the Social Security guideline?
Because most people right now...
Could you stop for a moment? Did you understand what he just said? Did you hear what he said? From every $1,000 that he received, let's use an example, he says he used the model of the Social Security to live by today. In other words, have you heard him clear? 60%, when you retire, you're receiving an average of 60% of what you earn today.
Correct.
You're not going to earn 100% of what you used to earn. You'll be earning 60%. So when you retire, you're supposed to be able to live with that 60%. Is that correct, Pastor? All right. Continue.
I say that because even now, I don't think people understand. Because we're struggling to live off of 100%. And people don't realize that when you retire, you'll be living off of less.
That's correct.
So you have to discipline yourself in terms of living with less, taking a portion, save to invest.
Okay. Thank you. Now, I'm going to say something where Pastor Ray could help us a little. When you retire, let me go since he mentioned the word retire. How much source of income should you have?
I like that number.
I don't know which time
She said 16. Say I like that number.
When you retire, how many sources of income should you have? I mean, I'm using it without the mind.
7. 7.
Source of income. Okay. Name me 4 of them.
Yeah, most people would be Social Security. For the typical person, Social Security could be 1. Pension could be 1.
Retirement fund.
Yeah. Like I say, some people have 401ks or IRAs on their job, so they pay into that. So that could be another one, right? It has several other things like dividends. You could take money now and invest in dividend-paying stuff and let that roll over. It don't want to be stocks. It could be funds like ETFs, mutual funds, stuff of that nature, right? It has several different things. Like I say, you could.
No, but talking to this individual here. When you retire, how many sources of income you should have?
Okay, I got the next one. Insurance. You know, some people don't believe that, like life insurance. You could do something with that too.
You are still not answering 100%. I'm getting there, but I like the attempt. Do we understand source of income?
Yes.
All right. Okay. You're not working.
Now, well, listen, besides working for money, you have to make your money work for you, because if you don't do that, you're going to be limited.
Make a good statement.
Yeah, you're going to be limited in the sources.
Says instead of you working for the money, you should make the money what?
Work for you.
He just have placed the heaviest of the statement that I would like to emphasize today. And I know Pastor Ray could get even deeper on this subject. But we need to go back to basic. When you receive your income, you separate your tithe and offering. What is God expecting me to do with the 90%?
Invest it.
You see, that's what the conversation we are scared to make and talk in church. Because if I get paid every 15th of the month or twice a month, some divide your salary in 2 parts, you get it twice a month, or once a month. That means when you get it once a month, how do you stretch your money or invest your money so the money work for you? Because some work for the money, and before 3 days the money is gone. Biblical principles don't work like that. We have to do planning with God. Are you still awake with me?
Yeah.
Let me just go through this ideal budget, then we'll get back to some of this. I don't know how much time we have. Oh, heaven. Things are not good. These are ideas that are online. So I took a picture and just bring it. If you have a monthly income of what it says there, 3,100. The 60-20-20 budget rule.
I didn't even look at it.
Inter-America used this for years, the 60-20-20. That's another subject. You will invest 60% of that 3,000 that represent 1,860 as what it's your living. Are we in the same page?
Yeah.
From that 60%, what things are my needs? You need a roof. Expert will tell you 35% average should pay for your rent. In other words, from that 3,100, you should have, your rent cannot be higher than 1,085. I know in New Jersey you don't find that kind of a situation, and worse in Newark. But just to give you an average, rent, in other words, if that's your salary, that means you can't live in certain places in New Jersey.
Based on the percent.
Unless you have a second income. If two incomes, you can negotiate how you want to live. One income is almost for rent and the other income to live. All right. If we follow the concept, what are the things that will be part of your needs? Your rent or your mortgage, utilities, grocery, insurance, health insurance, paying any debt you have there, and car payment. That should be that 60%. Then your lifestyle. Some of us like some little things to live a certain lifestyle. Can a Lexus take me to job every day?
Of course.
Yes, of course. What's wrong with you people?
Yeah.
Can an Audi take me from my house to my job?
Correct. Correct.
Can a Bugatti take me from my house to the job?
Positive.
And a Maserati?
Sure.
It helps my back pain, by the way. Oh, if anyone wants to give me a Maserati, that helps the back pain, you see. Just that the medicine is too expensive. Can a Hyundai take me from point A to point B?
Yes.
So then you need to have a car that can fit within that budget. It's not the budget to fit in the car I want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Let's climb up a little from the wants now so we can see it. Can you just scroll a little higher? So my wants is, oh yes, no, the one that just, we have the 20%. I want the wants a little bigger. There you go. So the wants are my lifestyle. Do you have to go eat pizza every day? Do you go to the restaurant every day? But something you choose to do. Then you have your hobbies. I like water rafting. If I could go water rafting every day, I will go, but somebody got to pay. You have hobbies. Some of you like to travel. How many of you like to travel? Can you travel every month?
No.
Oh my goodness, if I could go to Costa Rica at least every weekend, I would go. I could preach and Zoom to you all here while I'm sitting down on the coconut tree drinking coconut and eating the fish. In the mango season now, all right. What about entertainment? Do we need the cable and go to cinema and all their entertainment? It's a choice.
Not necessarily.
It's a choice. What about jewelry and luxury and clothes? It's still a choice. Now, I know some people have some erroneous concept when it comes to clothing. If you follow the Jewish principle, tell me what kind of a clothing was the priest? Fine linen. How much for linen today? Now, I'm not talking about the price. I said the quality. But it's quality. Don't run from the quality. I'm going to tell you this secret now. You guys didn't hear him. You could buy a shoes that cost $15, $20. It might serve you. The first rain, it open its mouth and you lose it. While if you buy a quality shoes that can serve you sometime, you no longer have this shoe, some of you will not guess it. It's going for 12 years. And it looked like I bought it yesterday. So you buy quality. It lasts longer. My daughter convinced me about the Apple product. Where is my friend from the Apple? I don't see her. You know, I have a feud with a person that says she's Android and I am Apple. My daughter told me when she was in high school, Dad, Apple computer is more investment than you see it as an expense. And I said, what? I bought in 9th grade when her Apple computer. She used it all 4 years in high school. By then, I already had 2 computers from the other brands. She went in her first and second year university with the same computer. I was going through my 3rd computer. Then when it died and I bought another computer, till today she still has that other computer. I say, I'm not promoting Apple, you know. I'm just telling you my experience with the Apple. There are certain products that serve long. While when I bought the other products, any little thing used to die on me. So you invest for certain quality product. Same thing if you was to be in Costa Rica. Certain cars work. What is the working car that most Jamaicans have? Toyota. You can buy all the brand, you can't survive the running up and down on the rough hills from the island. So you buy a reliable car that fits your job. If you ask me what car I want a Toyota Tundra. But it don't fit my pocket. But if you guys want to take a look, friend and donate it to me, I won't promote it, but I will accept it. You make investment on something that will serve you long term. But you don't put all your money in liabilities, but in things that can give you a return. Does that make sense? 100%. So lifestyle is something you determine. You live the life what is comfortable. I know a friend of mine that a few years ago they bought a Hummer. I said, whoa. And they can't afford it, no big deal. But when I see them stop at the gas station, I say, while the machine was still working, I was praying hard for it to stop. They put in $100. And I was like, ooh. That's the moment I say I don't like the Hummers. Wants or lifestyle is your choice. As Christian, you decide. But here is the savings. In the savings, the expert will tell you the first thing you need to have is an emergency what? What if your refrigerator decides to take a sabbatical? Today, a refrigerator is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Your refrigerator, unless you're in winter. If you're in winter, you don't need a refrigerator. Just hang it outside. When you think about a vehicle, if you live in a certain place, a vehicle is a necessity. But not any vehicle. You choose the vehicle. But when it comes to investment, you need to have an emergency fund for any emergency that might occur in your family. Then the second one is what? Some folks opt out of Social Security. What are the consequences of opting out of Social Security? You want to address that? You know how much you know about that part? There's 2 things I know about it. You can't receive Medicare or Medicaid? Medicaid. If you opt out. And then when people realize that, what? If you opt out of Social Security, you have to do your own investment and saving. And Medicaid gives you the advantage that because of your age, you get certain kind of a price for your health condition. Now, retirement is no longer about, well, my company or my institution going to continue maintaining me. No. It's an investment. And some of us start investing too late. Because if you start working in your 20s, by the time you get to 60, you will be earning a salary that is 3 times more than someone who earns right now 4 times your salary and just put in 10 years, 15 years. Social Security says you need around 10 years to be best. 10 years when you're vested? 10. But if you only invest 10 and start to draw in, is not much. The law allows you to make in your 401k or the retirement plan, you have a max and you have a minimum. You have a matching with your employee, but you have a max. What's the max by law? How much is the max by law? That you could invest from your salary into retirement. You'd like to share that with them?
Is it 30%?
Not that high. Mm-hmm.
It goes by your age. It gets capped. It's like certain amounts. Yeah. All I know is that if you're retiring, they're going to look at your last 10 quarters of your contribution. Even though you've worked all of those years and you've contributed, your last 10 quarters are going to be what they fix your payment on, your payment on, and how much it's going to come out to be. And keep in mind, even though you mentioned Medicare is not free either, because once you retire and you start to take Social Security and you begin to take your Medicare, Part A and Part B, Part A you get for free. Part B you pay for, and it comes out, and it depends on how much your earnings are. So if you're earning a large sum, I can just say, because my wife is just retired, I mean, we were kind of shocked because we're actually paying now more than than when she was working for the healthcare because of the tax bracket. Yeah, how much we were making. So yeah, but yeah, it goes by, like, how long you've been contributing, but also the last 10 quarters. And so I'm not sure if I answered your question or not.
Yes. Did you follow what Pastor Ray said? In some countries, your best years of salary is what they calculate for your retirement. Some borrow something in the United States. No, your last 10 years determine a lot of things for your 10 quarters. Sorry, I said 10 years. 10 quarters determine your income. Now, depends on the age, as he properly said. There is when you start working and you're a lot younger, the percentage you can put in is higher. But once you reach a certain age, you can put in more. The law allows you a certain bracket. For example, if the law based on your age would allow you to put in a max of 20-25%, and you are over 50, and you haven't worked more than 8-9 years in this country, you should almost go to the max. Am I right or no, Pastor? You should put in the max. Now, I'm talking based on experience. As the HR director for the New Jersey Conference, and I received the pastors coming from outside, their income in the United States is a lot better than what they had in their country. But what they are not measuring, I don't want to give so much to Social Security. They are probably 12, 14, 15, 20 years away from retirement. And because they put insurance as skinny, slim, dehydrated, I don't know which other word to use, that is almost dying, they get a boom of surprise when they retire. Some of us here go to HR block, it is? H&R block are some tax preparer And they know you want to say, oh, you can do nothing with, don't give the government nothing or your retirement. That's a false reality. You are not, the one who's preparing your task when you go and live in a mansion because he's charging good money. But you're going to live in misery. You should be investing in yourself. That's retirement. I'm stopping there for a moment because your retirement is yours. And by the way, you should write who should be a beneficiary. Beneficiary, we don't like. No, it's me. I don't want to say what I really want to say about some guys who don't trust them wife, them don't trust them children, them that. And when you are reaching a certain age, they don't trust you to put you in a nursing home too. And then before you die, they make sure to leak out everything and make sure you go down in the tomb in peace and clean. The system of retirement is not something new. Let's go for a brief moment so I could explain what's coming up about investment. God caused the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, to have a dream. And until today, the principles of investment that Joseph brought to the table are still valid today. We use the language, you have to save because you want to save for when it is rainy day. Do we still use that phrase? Okay. That's like an emergency savings. Oh, yes, thank you. An emergency savings. If you going to have rainy days, that means there will be situations that you, if you don't financially prepare for it, you ain't going to be able to balance yourself. When Joseph came into Pharaoh's court, the dream was simple. Fat cows, slim cows. The fat cows eat, everything was fine. Slim cows eat, and eat the fat cows, are still skinny. And then after he explained that there is a time where there will be plenty and a time where there will be little. If you want to see your own life, while you're working, you can be in the spring of your work life. Then you have the summer of your work life. Then you have the fall, and then comes what? The winter. Things get slower in the winter or faster? It gets slower. In America, we have learned something that have been for centuries. People know if you did not plow the land, plant the seed, and you don't have a good harvest, how the winter going to be for you? Yes, you got it right, my daughter. You're going to have a terrible winter. If you reach the winter of your life without making the proper preparation, you will face a very terrible winter. And where comes the problem? Who maintains who? If you don't have the proper investment, then your children have to use their income to maintain you. And then what happened? You are not financially free. Are you with me here? I know different families have different situations, so don't take this personal. What we need to do is go back to the biblical principle. When Joseph administered all the goods, when was the time of plenty, he lived with only the what? 60%. They did not eat up all the grain. When you have a lot of food at home, what you do? Put up some for tomorrow. But in America, some of us serve our plate. I see how kids were throwing away food today, and I like, this is not right. I have a problem with the servers, but I have a bigger problem with the parents. The child eat by the eyes. As him see it, oh, put more. And him can't even eat 2 spoons. And then we have the dumpster full with food. I find that not okay. I have seen some kids take some dessert. You notice I probably stopped bringing dessert. I'm bringing fruits now. Hello, somebody. Yeah. Only hear one amen, but hey, right? I see some kids take something that I can't even eat myself, huge like this. And then run into a corner. Later on, I see them dumping it in the trash. We got to teach our children and our family to be good stewards of what God bless you with. Only hear one yes? Amen? Or I hear two yes now.
True.
I see a hand going up now.
True.
When we look at investment, what happens if you make an investment? Joseph was clear. If you invest $620, that's a high number every month, in a place where you receive 8% annually, this is kind of big numbers. After 5 years, how much will you have? 25,000. After 10 years? After 20 years? Can you imagine if you and your wife can save every month $300 until you retire? You will almost end up after 30 years with how much money? That's moderate. You can go even higher. If you go into the big market, that's we are talking about families should be able to follow biblical model with investment. We want to address that with a little more homework and give you papers to work with. Have you ever sit down and calculate how much is your monthly expense? How much goes into your utilities? How much in the maintenance of your car, insurance, etc., 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 etc.? Are you living within your means or above your means? Does that make sense? Most live above. What I like about Ramsey, the first thing he set up is kill those credit cards and live on a debit card. If you can live on a debit card because you have the money in the bank. The credit card you have to pay someday. And guess what? Something happened, a phenomenon here in the United States. People buy expensive things and then sell it cheap in a yard sale. Does that make sense? Half of the tools I have, I bought them in yard sale. Nothing wrong with them. Craftsman and all kind of good brands. I even reach and kind of negotiate the price. And sometimes right in front of the person, I stop a moment and look how much it costs at Home Depot. I say, oh, oh. And I start to negotiate, even go lower. And the person needs to get rid of it. I even got from a neighbor a snow blower. Her husband died, and she said she's not doing anything with it. And she was pushing it to the curb. And I said, Miss, let me help you. I said, what are you going to do with this? I'm not using it for 2 years. So I got a free blower. That was a few years ago, not now. And I said, why in the world did you buy that? And it was sitting there not using it for 3 years. So God called us that we should make wise investment. Study the life of Joseph. You could see different materials. How did he lead Egypt to be the most prosperous nation on earth? That people will come and just sell themselves to Pharaoh and say, feed us because we don't even have where to eat. And he was able to make Egypt the great nation that once it was. It was a Jewish young boy that was running the finance department. Yes, yes.
Something about credit card. Is something wrong with credit card if you can use your credit card, but you pay in advance or pay before it reached the so is there something wrong with it? Because in America here, if you don't have a credit or credit card to do something, it's as if you don't stand nowhere. Because since I came to America, I realized that when I started out, I didn't have any credit, nor credit card, nor whatever. But since I have a credit card and doing some business with it, it's as if I walk into any store now and people started to look at me. So I would want to know if something is wrong, why we shouldn't, or if we should have one.
Very good, interesting question. You want to answer that?
I can make a couple. No, there's not. If you're using your credit wisely, and you're paying it as it comes due, and you're not carrying the balance It's just like using the debit card. And it helps you because using the credit card helps your credit. It gives you a better credit rating if you were then to need the credit to, say, buy a home or something like that. So it builds your credit history. So it's nothing wrong. What's wrong is when you begin to carry the balance, because it's a game. It's not in your favor. You're going to get quickly overwhelmed because most credit cards now are charging between 24 to up to 30% if you carry a balance, because it's all gone up. Just kind of a little side note. There used to be a time where people were very mindful with the credit card and used it in that fashion, understanding the purpose. But I won't say the president, but I'll say under an administration in the 1980s, they made a change to the tax law that said that you could write off your interest. So you could deduct that off your taxes. So people looked at that and said, oh, this is a tax loophole. So I'm going to just run up my credit and have these balances, and I just don't have to pay. I just pay the minimum, and I can deduct all of the interest. Then shortly thereafter, the government realized that wasn't such a great idea because they started losing money, and they repealed it. But the people's practice didn't change. People still continued to run up the debt and just were paying minimum, and now they're being stuck with the tax bill, because you're paying that's additional tax. So if you bought something you thought you got a great deal on it, and you bought it at a discount, if you bought it on a credit card and you're not paying it off, you ended up paying more for that than had you went and bought it full price at cash.
To add to what Elder Gooding is asking, who rule who? The credit card rule you, or you rule the credit card? So then why should it control you? Many, it rule you. And as Pastor Ray said, if you buy something for $600, $700, $800, $900 and you can't pay it up in a month, why buy it? You need credit record. There's many credit cards that offer you all kind of goodies. But 90% of them, if you skip a payment on time, they pull out the cat and bring in the tiger. And the tiger is hungry for days. This ain't going to scrape you. He's going to eat you. So credit card is not something that you should take it lightly. Yes, some folks link their credit card to their bank account, and that's a what? Oh, no. Okay. And there's a lot of things that you try. There is two hands I'm going to help you with. So Elder Ray explained it very clearly. Yes, you need to build up your credit history because you're going to buy a house. You want to buy a car. Even to buy a car, the interest have to be lower because you have a good credit payment record. So you must work that out. And if you can work it that you buy your grocery with a credit card, and by the next day you pay, because you can pay it online now, pay it. I had a friend that she's currently working in Greater New York. I didn't have a credit card. Back then in Costa Rica, there was Credomatic. And she said, Thorp, this is the way you're going to do it. You buy, leave in the grocery, go straight to the credit card little offices, and pay it. And I was doing that. I come to one store, buy something, I walk, because they had several offices, I will go and just pay it. And they say, you're not coming in the system. And then, oh, yes, right here. And I paid. I will pay it constantly. In 9 months, I had Credomatic Gold. When I came to the United States with Credomatic Gold, I had a credit record of $45,000. And when I tried to apply here, they said, we don't know you. We don't know you. You know what is the highest credit I could receive? $600. And I look at the person and I said, where I coming from? I'm among the big guys. Here they didn't even want to receive me. It took me 8 years to just have something between $10,000 to $15,000. I said, well, this is madness. But that's the way the system here is in the United States. The brother all the way in the back, and then brother Elder Bienami first. All the way in the back. Yes, Troy. Yes, Troy was first, and then I will come to Elder. Yes. Hey, go ahead. Oh, you have the mic. Oh, okay.
I want to say it's a double-edged sword. Most people don't really understand how the credit system works, and that's by design. But I will give you a little history to help you to understand, because you actually do need to establish credit and develop credit, but you also need to be disciplined and manage it properly. And to give you a little history, in 71, when Nixon was president, he signed the Glass-Steagall Act. And the Glass-Steagall Act took US dollar off the gold standard. And that created the current credit system that we're in. Because the following year, the ERISA Act came in, which is the Employment, Retirement, Income Security Act. That created 401ks on your jobs. Then the following year, credit cards start to get phased in like that. Because the whole system is based off of credit and debt. Because for most of the rich folks, they use credit, which is debt, to increase wealth because they use it as leverage. And that's what they don't teach us and help us to understand. So it's a subject of itself that's really great and is worth the time to spend to understand, because if you do, then you could be able to do some really great things. But in ignorance, which is how they keep us, is going to punish you. So I'm saying all this to say, I don't want you to look at credit cards as a bad thing, even though, okay, I'm going to use this analogy. A knife could kill you, but it could also slice bread. It could do something constructive. So credit cards are kind of the same way. It all depends on how you use it.
Speaking of credit card, how can you educate someone who still believes credit card is the mark of the beast?
I have a short answer and a long one.
Okay, make it short.
The short one, brother, if you believe the mark of the beast, don't use it.
No, they choose not to have it because they consider it as the mark of the beast.
That's why it says some folks have some convictions. That if you even explain it from the Bible, they're still not going to swallow it. They have a conviction. If he believe it, that's your respect to believe. But that's not biblical. Because if he hasn't proven from the Bible, it's not biblical. Many things have been said over the last 50 years or more. Let me just use the one of the mark of the beast. When they elect Ratzinger as Pope, everybody was running around, yeah, this is it. And the poor guy retired and run out. Francisco, oh, he's a Jesuit, and run around. Yeah, we can get the mark of the beast. He's dead and gone. And Paul VI and all of them. Our attention should be as how the new General Conference president preached and Sabbath pass. All these signs Jesus said, but we should be preaching the gospel to this generation. We tell everybody, oh, the mark of the beast, oh, the mark. We're running around like chicken without a head. But the mandate that Jesus gave there is that. Some folks go that, I don't want some electronic stuff because they're going to put this, you know, many times I heard they're going to put chip in your blood, chip in your this, chip overhead. I got the chip long time. Well, but I'm going into that chip long time. So many people speculate on what been in the media. Nostradamus said this. I remember when the Y2K. The year 2000 now is 25 years old. And people were making crazy remarks. Credit card is not born yesterday. There was credit card system in the past that was not a credit card. There are a lot of things in the market. And there comes now a time that now it is digital. You could use a cell phone as a credit card and just do like that trick and done. But we are missing the central heart of the gospel. This person, they go around promoting, don't get the chip, don't get this, but they're not preaching the gospel that's mandate by Jesus. That's where I have a problem. So I have talked to some, say, oh, you believe is it? Don't want to have it? Live happy life. You have members who have read Ellen White when she wrote the book Country Living. We have to go country living. We have to go. And I says, when did she write that? To whom did she write that? Oh, Pastor, you don't believe it. Hold on. What was going on in the United States when she wrote that book? The industrialization revolution. People leave farming and came into the cities. And many people leave their houses, live in a little spot that is like from that bench to here. Family of 6 children. And tuberculosis and all them sickness start killing half of the population. And Ellen White had to explain, work in the city, but live a country life. And I am ashamed to tell you this, many of the Americans that work New York, where is it they live? No.
Connecticut,
Pennsylvania,
New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
and go to their houses in Pennsylvania. What kind of house they have? Not only the size of the house, they are in open air. Yes. They have big land. Some of them even plant. They go work in the city, come home and sleep there. Who will have less of a pulmonary disease? The one who sleep in the city or the one who sleep outside there? So that lifestyle is what Ellen White was talking about. But some who want to live in their certain age, I had a few at Lake Nelson, they know them. I want to run to country living. They don't even know to distinguish a healthy plant from a poisonous plant. By the way, if you're going to go country living, that's the bush. Then hear sounds in the night and then start to shake. What in the world a city boy and a city girl when they go down in the bush, like a little cricket make noise and they are scared to death. Second, do you know where to walk and find a well? Because, by the way, you're not going to have electricity nor water. And do you know how to prepare vegetables and meat if you don't eat meat? For a long 6 months winter. And many of those houses into those bushes, if you don't cut the wood, and some of you came in, hold a knife and cut too long because them finger them start to get yes, kind of things. Your finger can't even take a few days cutting with knife, and you want to take an axe. So we even take a machete too. And they don't know what to do if a wolf and a bear come in their yard. They start to pray hard. You're not no phone up there. The spirit of prophecy advices were also written within a context of the time too. Because some stupid people, and if you feel offended, I have no way to apologize. In Ellen White days, I would be glad to be the father. Because when the brother was there trying to pull water from the lake and get into take a shower, Ellen White said, come on, leave that and come to church. With him stinking self, him having bathed the whole week. Having take a shower the whole week, you know what was the custom in those days? They had a little basin or a little whatever. Daddy bathed first. Then mother bathed in that same water. And if you're son number 5, if you're the youngest of the child, you today will say, there is no way. So I have heard people say, oh, we need to go back to Ellen White days. Yeah, right. Tell your youngest son to bathe in that water after it finished. That was a custom because where was she living? In Battle Creek. Back in those days, it was cold to the very cold of the cold. Elder come from Boston area. Cold here is not frightening him. I come where we see sun and sun 24 hours a day. My mother coming from where it is 80 to 90 degrees. The coldest time is 70, 75. So when it comes to lifestyle and living, and even the reality of finance, we are not in a farm, you're in a city now. And we want to have farm life living in a city. City life, you can't jump on a mule and ride it to church. If any one of you come with a mule to church, I know we need to have a mental health training. Because it doesn't work. My father-in-law, some of his neighbors, bring this Sabbath donkey or the Sabbath horse and then put him in the churchyard to eat the grass, and nobody can ride him because it's Sabbath. But here in the United States, you better have a car that's working in the winter and have a house that can resist the winter. And financially, you need to navigate the world of finance here in the United States. You need to know to use the dollar. It's not Jamaican dollars or any other currency. It's American dollars. If you was to lose your job, will you have an income to support yourself for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months? If the answer is no, that means the lifestyle you are living now is not in harmony with the Bible. Folks tend to say, okay, no, I need to get a financial advisor. No. Go back to the Bible. You need to plan ahead. That's why we read the text so heavily. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. Then you have to, if you can, and some folks ask, just with the credit card, if we should practice any anti-conceptive method and da. Some people go into some subject that I still scratch my head. Ellen White makes a counsel. Have the children that you can make happy. In today's DNA, can you, with a $60,000, $50,000 salary, have 8, 9 kids? God bless your heart if you can do it. It's not easy, because to raise a child in this economy takes a certain price. And you have to plan. One of the things that they will tell you, if you have children, when you start to save money for your children's education.
Say that again. Repeat the question.
When is it you start to save money for your children's education?
For some people,
No.
the womb.
Don't tell the other people. What is your answer?
I've been doing it.
Sorry? No. From when you start.
Yeah, early. From 2, 3, somewhere there. So
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Once from birth.
yeah,
From the time you're pregnant.
yeah. No.
Even before marriage, I could accept that one too. Child guidance and Adventist home. From when you start to train the child.
Before, yeah.
People in the world don't know that. Elder Ray will tell you, I have known we worked together at the Lake Nelson Church. I have the privilege to be there for 9 years. So you see a lot of things. And I knew a Filipino sister who was pregnant. And in her house, she will play the piano at a certain hour, violin at a certain hour, another instrument another hour of the day. When the child was born, they gave the child the same routine. And these kids now are gifted musicians. They start from what age you start to teach your children about finance? You already know now that from birth or from the tummy. But from when you start to teach children about the use of money? 7?
I would say 5.
He says 5?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'll say 5.
When they start talking. I like his assumption. When they start talking. Some start talking from a year and a half or a year. Okay. You see, that's where we fail in our church. Financial literacy, we had it just 3, 4 Sabbaths ago. What was the emphasis that the sister presented about financial literacy?
Say that again. Repeat that one.
What was the emphasis? We had someone come, a sister come and talk to us about financial literacy. You see, when we hear financial literacy, we start to get crazy. But the elder is mentioning what it says, train a what? A child. What age is a child?
A child.
Age 2. Born is a child. They are infants. They are toddlers. From when you start teaching a child to talk, from his months, from just. But when you start to teach him about finance, now we talk to kids according to the age appropriate. If you're going to tell him about investment and banking, a certain thing, they might not understand. But the use of money, they should be able to start understanding. Come back with the change. Now they need to understand, to navigate, and then the language of finance. One of the things that we do as church, if you give your child some money, how you call it today?
Allowance.
The allowance. He grab it, and where's the first place he's thinking to go? And whose fault is that? What if you teach your child to make an investment? Save for the future. Make the money work for him. There is many systems in the bank that you can open an account even for a child. You call those account again?
Custodial account.
Custodial account, but you have another name too. I don't remember the name. There's a letter's name, yes, your UTMA or UGMA, yes? Oh, that's how the word, okay. What we are trying to say, if we as adults are ignorant about finance and biblical finance, what do you think went on with our kids? You could try your children right now. Your teenagers, give them $100 and tell them, at the end of the week, I need you to give me a report of what you did with the $100. Don't tell them anything. What's the first place somebody want to run? They want to run to the mall or go to Amazon. And by in a week, Dad, I bought the latest. We are also raising unstable consumers. Does that make sense? What did I say? Unstable consumers. Earning, that's correct. So if you give him the allowance because he cleaned the yard and did the other things in the house, but then he take the money and run to the other one and give it away and come back with something that only serve him a few days. Sorry?
Pastor, I'm saying that, I'm from Africa. I didn't know anything about financial education. But when I finished, secondary school and had the government work, I decided to plan my financial thing by myself. My tithe and everything, and God helped me. So, the child is not working. Why should you put him in that situation? He doesn't know anything about money. So if you teach him, he's going to be money conscious. He's going to be money conscious. Whatever even in school, he will always be thinking about how to make money.
What you're saying, you disagree that you teach a child financial literacy.
To me, it's not of no importance.
You see, what you probably miss, financial literacy is different from making money. Financial literacy is different from making money. Is being responsible.
No,
Let me help you with this. I like my Oriental family. I have seen in Costa Rica and Limon, people from China. The Chinaman have the store. Some is hardware store, a convenience store. And the old man sit down behind the cashier. You know where the children start? No. Never. That's not where they start. If you know many Orientals, especially Chinese, they don't start their children. He's there as the king. No one giving cross there. He start the son by cleaning the shop. Sometimes they even speak Spanish well. My mother could tell you she grew up with many of them. And after the son keep the place clean, he needs to learn shelving. Deal with the one who bring in the heavy sack. This is the son of the owner. And he tell them, this is the way. Make an inventory, how much we have and what we need. Make the request. Him teaching to can start to do transaction with the one who come in and sell the product that they have to sell. This Chinese still doing that. After he reached a certain age, after doing that for years, meet the clients. Help them do the purchasing just to come, tell me how much is the total, and they pay, and I give them back the change. I'm still teaching. That's training. When the old man come of certain age, after his son is gone to university, the son come back in the summers, the father start to put him at the cashier and sit down at the door in a little marina shirt and with a little slippers, right, Ma? And sit down by the door. That's the owner. And when you come in, you believe he's a beggar. He has on a little cheap pants and sit down and see people coming in. And the son now is doing this, attending cashier, running the store, administering everything, giving orders, and the father just watching him. The father don't talk to him in public. When the store closes, he says, this is the way to handle this, this is the way. So he give him one-on-one coaching. The old man will stay there. The son will graduate, finish education. Many times, now the son have a line of hardware stores. Right, Ma, in Costa Rica? A line. Who taught him? Start sweeping. If you're a farmer, and many who come from farmers, what the farmer do with his son? The son can't cut grass like the father, but what he does, show him how to do it. And he walk him through the farm. If it is cocoa or banana, he says, this is when the sucker is ready. This is when you cut it out. You start teaching him the basic. Afterward, he says, first, see what I do. That's principle number 1. Then, see how I do it? Help me do it. Then let me help you now do it. And then do it, let me see. And 90% of those who learn financial literacy value time. They administrate time well. But if a child, you don't teach him now, what is he doing home? Sit down. This don't teach you financial literacy. But if you teach your child to value time, your health and investment and skills, you will gain more having a child one summer with a carpenter. You follow me? One summer with a plumber. What are you doing now? You're training a child. Then another with an electrician. If a child or a high school young man, every summer for 2 months is the protege or the apprentice of these different, he might study to be a teacher or a pastor, but he knows what to do. And know the basic. And if somebody doing work at his house, he look at it and say, I'm trying to outsmart me. That's part of financial literacy. You're preparing a balanced young man to understand the world he's going to live in. It's not only money. It's all that circle around in life. It's important that you had an advantage that some of us didn't have. You start working from an early age. At that time, it might seem hard. But you had to learn to get up early, right or wrong, Elder?
Yes.
You got to get up early. Many kids sleep till...
No, I learned it from tide.
You learned it from the tide?
Yeah.
To get up early?
No, yeah. My mom trained me to be very faithful in my tithe. So
yeah, but I'm talking about working.
Because of that, it had helped me a lot.
But I'm talking when you start working early. You say you start working from in high school.
Anybody.
Who taught you to wake up early and go to work on time?
Who taught me? No.
Yes.
You have a time to rise up.
Well, where you learned that?
School, yeah.
Where did you learn that you have to get up early and go to work?
When I was a child.
Who taught you? Did you just lay down in the house and nobody's there and you get up by yourself?
No, sometimes my mother will be going to farm early in the morning. But
You're not giving credit to your mother. Your mother, when you were 6, 7, 8 years, who get you out of the bed?
Myself.
Yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Well, he's a unique person. I won't disagree.
Where I come from,
okay.
By maybe like 4 o'clock in the morning, they will go in the bush to collect search for cook. They call it.
So you were wake up or you wake up yourself? They wake you up or you wake up yourself?
No, but that time, before I woke up, my mother had already gone.
Okay.
So I was doing
So the lifestyle in the home built up for you to work within that time frame. You knew the hour you had to be at school.
Yeah, because you hear bang, 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 that means the
Oh,
the
yeah.
school is red. Then
So you had some kind of
Yeah.
control of class.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on the same page now.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're trying to say is your environment teach you a lifestyle. We have to do the same when it comes to financial literacy. If a child is not taught in this country, the system going to observe him, control him, and kill him. And it's not going to let him be a productive person in this country. They ain't going to be productive. And there is a second thing that he might be disadvantaged to. Depends on even the way you are educated. One of the things that, yes, it's time. One of the things that we fail as a church is discipline. What it is? Discipline. If the child have a meeting at 5, what time he should be here? 5:45. What he should be doing from 4:45 to 5 o'clock? What? What kind of preparation? Use the bathroom, all right. Okay, well, let me help you with one part you're not looking at. He have technically 10 minutes time. What can he learn in 10 minutes? Now he could learn something. What if he was to read every day for 10 minutes? And he was to read something that can teach him a new skill. What if he was to learn a new language and he'll study every day for 10 minutes? In 1 week, let's take out the Sabbath, 6 days, he would have studied how many minutes? And then you look in a month, 6 months, a year. That child could learn a new skill. What if you was to discipline? This is where we call financial literacy. It's administering time. Do you have a calendar where you break down how you want to run the day for your child? It doesn't take much that you can organize a child's day and says, when you get up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? And when is the last thing you do before you go to bed? You enter into a discipline. I like kids that walk around knocking their chest. I'm going into the army. I smile. You know why? In the military, they're going to come out with more discipline than what they ever dream in their own house. They have time to get up. They have to be precise with what they do. And they have 1 or 2 times to learn the skill. No other option. You have to. There is not an option. If we start training our kids for tomorrow, why not make them the leaders of tomorrow? What was Ezra's job in the Bible? I'm finishing now because we're going to a board meeting. What was Ezra's job? Hello, somebody. What was Ezra's and Nehemiah's job? Scribes, they said, sorry. One was a priest. What they were doing in the government of a non-Jewish leader? Advisors. And they were the one in charge of the money too. Daniel, what was his work?
He was a governor.
He was like a governor, but he's the one who handled
all the finances.
the finance. During the time while cousin Nebuchadnezzar was eating a vegetarian diet, who was running the kingdom?
Daniel.
And the other 4 evil boys and few witchcraft crazy guys. But while Daniel was in charge, Babylon prospered. Was Egypt a heathen and nation, and we could use all different words, yes or no?
Of course.
Did they continue worshiping false god?
Yes.
But God prospered Egypt while Joseph was leading. Potiphar's house, was Potiphar a idolater?
Yes.
But God prospered that man's house while he had Joseph in the place.
True.
Right or wrong?
Correct.
And by the way, Joseph was a young boy, young man. and he knew to administrate and run a household. Can a 14-year-old run a household here in the United States? You say, I want to finish with that part. Can you give your 14-year-old to take care of all the utilities bills, make checks, do all these errands, maintenance of the house? Can your 14-year-old do that? But Joseph could do it. He was running the house of Potiphar. He was running the house. And the man left everything in him in charge. Sorry? 17. Can your son at 17 run a household? And finance and everything. When did he learn that? From young. So we as a church need to start to help our youngsters to grow and know things right and be wise. There are principles in the Bible that we should not forget. So we want to close.
I was just going to say, to bring it back, I know sometimes when we talk finances, folks get a little bit uncomfortable in with that. But the whole idea is really this idea of financial literacy. And it goes back exactly to the verse that you used. I meant, how can you function as Paul is saying unless you understand that those principles? So it's not something that we should be afraid to talk about, because we are going to be held accountable. Be able to take care. How are you going to take care of others if you haven't learned to be able to manage your finances? You're just not going to have the resources to be able to do that. We can always say, oh, God will bless. Yeah, God will bless. But he doesn't bless ignorance, where you're ignorant of certain principles that are in the Scripture, where we should be mindful. And just as we take care to apply some principles, we don't have the right to pick and choose which ones we want to abide by.
I would like to add to what Pastor Ray said. When Jesus tells the parable, one him gave 5 talents, 8 talents, 10 talents, and then he come down to the one he gave only 1. When he came back, what was the report he was looking for the one who had 5? He had an investment. We don't want to talk about that investment. The one that had 10, when he come back, what he find? He had 20. Where is the principle from the Bible for you to go from 5 to 10? In other words, you multiply 100 and went at 200%. We have to study the Word. I pray that God will help us to start to look in the Word as a way of building the ideal. God wants you to be prosperous, as old John 3, the 3rd book of John. Let's read it to close. Yes, no, 1:3, yes, because it doesn't have chapters, but it's the only chapter. John chapter 1 and verse 3. And many of us kind of look over it and just ignore it, but yes. Verse 3 says, verse 2, not 3, sorry, verse 2. Okay, it says, Beloved, I'm reading from New King James Version, verse 2, chapter 1, verse 2. I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in good health, just as your soul what? So there is 3 dimensions need to prosper. Physically, spiritually, and financially. Can we start teaching our children to be prosperous? All right. That's what we want to start doing in this church. And the retreat, we're going to have some conversation with this. I hope you will be receiving a booklet that named Faith and Finance. What's the book name? Start reading it. We're going to be taking a decision on that so you could receive it and start to read it and answer a few things, because we want to be better stewards to honor God in what we do. We'd like to stand up to a closing prayer right now, and then, I have one. Okay. Let us pray. Compassionate Father, we want to thank you for the opportunity to once again study your word, have an open dialogue. as we close this portion of the program, bless us, guide us, lead us, we pray, in Jesus' name. Okay. Over to the youth.